It was probably one of the creepiest things that has ever happened to me. So one night, a few years ago, I was working at a stationery store after college, trying to make ends meet. I used to take public transportation home from work. I'd leave around 8 p.m. or later, depending on the customers. One day, while waiting for a ride at my stop, I sat down on the curb, listened to music with my headphones, watching for the ride, which usually took a long time. Then something strange happened. I saw my brother driving my grandmother's car with my sister-in-law as a passenger, and they drove by. My grandmother's car was a red Jetta. We didn't have a car, so my grandmother would sometimes lend us hers. I stared at the car and said, "That looks like my grandma's car, but I'm not sure what it is." The closer it got, the closer I looked at the people inside in their clothes, and I see that it was them. Both of them stared at me. When we exchanged glances, "Te pased B." And I said, "Why didn't you stop for me? We're going to the same place." Back then, my brother and sister-in-law lived with my parents and I, the youngest. I'm the baby of the family. Then I noticed that the two of them stared at me, because they both knew exactly where I usually wait for transportation and the time. The three of us exchanged glances, and they didn't stop. They just moved forward without any explanation. After that, my second thought was, maybe it wasn't them and I confused them. Although it was really weird because I recognized their clothes. My brother was wearing a brown t-shirt and a beret like he usually wears, and he had a beard. My sister-in-law was wearing a black dress with little flowers, and both of them were wearing glasses. It was 100 by 100 them. But anyway, that was my thought. But that wasn't the strangest thing. Still, when they were already moving away not too far, I could see that in the trunk. It had the mark of a sticker that was removed and the mark that it was there before, and the shape of a fish remained. My grandmother's car had that mark because it had a sticker of a fish, until it was removed a long time ago. And something much stranger still happens. The driver of the car, that is my brother, takes out his hand and waves it as a sign of farewell, and I said, "Yeah, right. So why didn't you stop?" After that, about 15 more minutes passed, and the transport arrived. Normally I go listening to music and checking social networks, but this time doubt invaded my mind, so it occurred to me to ask my mom, "Hey, have my brother and sister-in-law arrived yet?" And she answered, "Yes, they arrived a while ago." And I asked her, "Is my grandmother's car there?" And she answered, "No. I haven't seen her all day," and at that moment I felt a horrible chill, and I asked the last question, "Do you know if my brother asked her for the car?" And she said they didn't each arrive on public transport, and I couldn't believe it. Then my mom said to me, "Is something wrong?" And I said, "I'll tell you when I get home." I was thinking, putting two and two together, and no matter how much I think about it, I can't find an answer. Then I get home, and the most surprising thing comes, because when I arrived, I didn't see the car at any time. And then, when I entered the house, I see my brother and my sister-in-law normally watching a movie with different clothes than what they were supposed to have in the car, and still, without changing into their pajamas or something more comfortable. Even so, I decided to try to believe that it was a joke, and I sarcastically told them, "Thanks for waiting for me, huh?" And they doubtfully asked me, "What are you talking about?" And I told them, "Stop pretending. I clearly saw you in my grandmother's car." This joke has been too much. I had enough with waiting for the transport for a long time. They really didn't know what I was talking about. "So primera asked, Tim, didn't you go by Grandma's car?" "We haven't seen Grandma today," they replied. My blood stopped, and I got chills. So I asked my grandmother by text message, "Grandma, did you go out somewhere? Is your car there?" And she replied, "Yes, it is here." And I said, "Really? This is not a joke." And she sent me a picture of her car parked in a garage and said, "I didn't go out all day today," and I just replied with a lump in my throat. But in a text message, "Thanks, Grandma. See you tomorrow." And we said goodbye. And the doubt enveloped me too much. Trying to think of the possibilities of this, what happened? Why me? What was that? What did I see? The next day I went to my grandmother's house, and when I arrived I said, "Can I borrow your car keys? I think I forgot something there last time." I didn't want to tell her I was looking until I was sure, and I didn't even know what I was looking for. But I checked to see if I saw anything unusual, and I didn't find anything. It only increased my doubt more and more with time. I didn't give it much importance. But I remember it well, and I said, why not share? This strange experience, it's something that really happened to me. but I can't explain how or why. I am not someone who believes in these things. But this goes beyond the bounds of what I find understandable, or it's a joke too well planned, which is strange. We are not that big of jokers in my family, or something else happened that night. It is weird that we not that big of a joke in my family, or something else happened that night. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your friends.